Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating topic, one that literally bridges the gap between raw, messy data and, well, massive professional success. We're talking about the career benefits of analytics. My goal here is super simple. We're going to reveal exactly how mastering digital analytics isn't just about staring blankly at endless spreadsheets or pulling your hair out over broken numbers. No, it's about fundamentally skyrocketing your value in the job market. Because when you can actually turn data into measurable business growth, you're building an incredibly in-demand career. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're starting with the demand for digital analytics, then mastering the essential tools, bridging the skills gap, checking out the real-world career benefits, and finally, your path to success. So I want to hook you right away with this massive number. 32%. And look, this isn't some hypothetical metric. This is a 32% increase in actual revenue achieved by a real-world e-commerce brand. How'd they do it? Honestly, just by implementing Google Analytics 4, setting up enhanced server-side tracking, and finally understanding their data. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. When you've got the skills to generate a 32% revenue bump for a company just by fixing how they measure things, you become a totally invaluable asset. Section 1. Demand for digital analytics. Why businesses desperately need accurate tracking. Think about it like this. Right now, without accurate data, businesses are essentially flying blind. It's wild. And to stop flying blind, they have got to fix their tracking gaps. By simply doing a data accuracy audit and putting a correct measurement plan in place, that same e-commerce brand we just talked about, they saw a 95% increase in data accuracy. I mean, wow. That right there is the root cause behind the crazy demand for analytics pros. You just can't optimize your marketing ROI, measure campaigns, or improve the bottom line if your data is 95% wrong. Businesses know this, for sure, which is exactly why they are actively hunting for people who can deliver reliable insights. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Take it from Rohit Bansal, head of marketing for a direct-to-consumer brand. He explicitly noted that after his team transformed their tracking and built custom dashboards, they increased conversions by 28% in just 3 months. That is real-world proof of how high-quality analytics directly impacts a business's bottom line. The folks who can actually facilitate this kind of transformation, they are highly, highly sought after. Moving on to Section 2, mastering the essential tools, the effect of business demand. Now, to meet this huge demand, you've got to connect the technical tools to specific, high-value career competencies. So let's walk through this essential toolkit. First up is Google Analytics 4, or GA4, which is basically the gold standard for tracking events, conversions, and e-commerce activity. Next is Google Tag Manager. This is absolutely crucial for accurate implementation and managing data layers. And the best part, you don't need to bother a developer every single time you want to make a change. Then we've got Looker Studio, which lets you turn a bunch of raw numbers into these really beautiful automated executive dashboards. And finally, AI. Leveraging tools like ChatGPT or Gemini for AI-powered insights and marketing automation, that is what separates a pretty good analyst from a truly cutting-edge one. But here is a little secret. Just mastering the tools isn't quite enough on its own. Industry pros use a proven 5-step process to deliver reliable insights, and learning this workflow is a total game changer for your career. It kicks off with a discover and audit phase to spot the gaps, then plan and strategy to define exactly what your measurement goals are. Step 3 is to actually implement that tracking using best practices. Next, you test and validate to make sure the data is spot on across all devices. And finally, analyze and optimize, which is where you turn those insights into real, tangible business results. Section 3. Bridging the skills gap, from classroom to corporate. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast it shows. There's often a massive leap between academia and the actual corporate world. On the left, traditional academic learning relies pretty heavily on theoretical concepts and standard assignments. But look over at the right. The industry demands an industry-aligned curriculum. They want to see live industry projects, AI-powered learning, and people tackling real business scenarios. If you want a lucrative career in analytics, you literally have to transition from just learning about data in theory to implementing tracking for actual business outcomes. A perfect example of bridging this gap is getting involved in campus programs like the Industry-Ready Analytics and Data Tracking Hackathon with AI. This is such a unique experiential learning environment.
Honestly, instead of just taking another boring multiple choice test where you forget everything the very next day, students are thrown into team-based competitions where they build end-to-end analytics projects. You actually sit down and design data collection strategies and tracking plans. It's hands-on. And that is exactly how you transition from academic theory into becoming a highly employable practitioner. Section 4, Real-World Career Benefits, the ultimate payoff for your professional life. All right, so here is the blueprint for your personal employability. Let's rapidly pace through exactly what this hands-on analytics training gives you. First, the ability to implement GA4 and Google Tag Manager like a total pro. Second, the skill to create insightful executive dashboards that leadership teams will actually rely on day to day. Doing this naturally allows you to build a really strong hands-on portfolio of live projects. And in turn, you gain these incredibly powerful interview prep skills simply because you can speak to real business scenarios. Ultimately, you achieve complete job readiness. These are concrete, highly marketable assets you can take anywhere. And you know, that job readiness is totally reflected in the massive 95% placement support and improvement rate you're seeing highlighted right here. Programs that focus heavily on these specific hands-on analytics skills, they report these kinds of numbers because they actually work. When you've got hands-on experience with live client projects, plus professional certifications in the exact tools businesses are desperate for, it directly translates to hiring success. It just makes sense. Section 5, Your Path to Success. Let's move to and see how this builds into an actionable roadmap. How to acquire these in-demand skills today. Now that we've fully grasped why these skills are so incredibly valuable, let's look at how to get them. One of the absolute most effective pathways is through a Train and Deploy internship program. This kind of setup is explicitly designed to empower you by combining structured, expert-led training with actual, real-world client projects. So you aren't just learning in a vacuum, right? You're getting industry mentorship, you're working through mock interviews, and you receive the career readiness support you need to confidently transition straight from the campus into the corporate world. And hey, you might be thinking this kind of upskilling takes years. Well, actually, scratch that. It really doesn't. Look at these timelines for specialized industry-focused training. You can master e-commerce tracking in just 4 weeks. You can conquer Google Tag Manager and GA4 in 6 weeks. Or you can complete a comprehensive website tracking and analytics implementation course in just 8 weeks. These are short-term, high-impact sprints that give you professional certifications and immediate employability. So, the crucial point is this. Businesses are generating way more data than ever before, but they are absolutely starved for professionals who can actually make sense of it, track it accurately, and use it to drive growth. The roadmap is clear, the tools are completely accessible, and the career benefits, they're immense.